What's up, Buffalo Fanatics? Josh Allen here. Just wanted to say, go Bills.
Yo, what is going on, Buffalo Fanatics? It's your man, Rev. Look, I apologize. I can't say I'm sorry, my bad. Enough. I was experiencing some incredible technical difficulties. So shout out to you guys for being as patient as you have been. But nevertheless, we are here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with another edition of Rated Rev, brought to you by Underdog Fantasy on the Buffalo Fanatics Network. Do me this favor. If you do so kindly, please smash that like and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. And this is the roll call, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's late, but we up in this mug right now, and we've got to get fired up for this game on Monday. And we're going to talk about it tonight. So do me this favor right now. This is the roll call. Let me know where you're watching this game from right now. We haven't done it in a while, but I need to see it in the chat. Drop it right now. Let's get this thing popping, baby. Let's get it. Let's get this, baby. Yo. It's like Cody comes in with a super chat already. Says, yo, let's get this out the way, Rev. That was not worth $10. Hey, I don't blame you. I understand completely. That Peacock was a whole hot mess. It is what it is, man. Look here, the NFL is doing their whole thing, trying to squeeze as much money out of people as possible. And that Peacock stream was awful, and that game was terrible as well. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So you guys are coming in right now. Let me see here. So I got Cody from Buffalo coming in. Sweat from Indianapolis. What's good, my man? Everybody's already filing through here. Again, I greatly appreciate y'all being here and being so patient with me as I got some things under control. I've got Reg coming in from Pasadena, California. What's up, Reg? Orlando, Florida in the house. The court jester. What's good? Matt coming in from Albany, New York. Eric Koontz, North Carolina. Phil all the way across the ocean, baby. London, England. What is happening? I appreciate you for joining me live. Yeah. Hey, Mr. Migo said that game was a travesty. Yo, no doubt about it, man. That game wasn't it. Can we disagree that game was terrible? It probably was the best Chiefs performance that we've seen all year. So, give credit where credit is due, but the rest of that game was awful. Completely awful. And it flew by. Was it just me, or did this game fly by? I put a tweet out here just as the game was about to wrap up. I'm like, yo, this game is flying by. It's crazy fast. And this had to be probably one of the least penalized games that I've seen in a long time until towards the end of it. But I felt like that game, it was so blasted cold. I felt like the refs were like, yo, hey, I'm just here so we won't get fined. Forget throwing a whole bunch of flags. Let's hurry up and wrap this thing up and get back in the house in the heater or something, because that game flew by. But nevertheless, man, it is what it is. Chiefs came out with a victory. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But how about so far the first couple of games of NFL Wildcard weekend? What have you guys thought about it? What did you guys think about the games? For me, off the top, yo, shout out to the Houston Texans. My goodness. I don't know about y'all, but I didn't think the Houston Texans were going to win that game personally. Just myself, I thought it was a little bit too much. I thought the defense of the Browns, man, was gonna make it very difficult for CJ Stroud and that Texans offense, a young team. But not only did they win, they beat the ever-living brakes off of the Browns. That game was not even close. God, they beat the snot out of them. A 31-point victory. 45-14, the Houston Texans demolished the Cleveland Browns. And they picked a perfect game to make Joe Flacco look like an old quarterback. Right? I mean, that guy threw how many picks? What was it? 2 or 3? 2 interceptions. 2 interceptions, 1 pick six. I mean, Joe Flacco, and he still threw for 300 yards passing, which is crazy. 34 for 46, Joe Flacco went for 300 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and the Browns put up 14 points. Meanwhile, C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans put up, C.J. Stroud himself, 16 for 21, 274 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And how about a day for Motor Singletary? I mean, it wasn't like an incredible running game, 13 for 66, but I mean, it was good to see him get in the end zone. And it's always good to see, your former players, ex-Bills, doing well. And he had a decent game today. And I'm glad he was able to get the win along with CJ Stroud. I don't know about you guys, but CJ Stroud is a special young player. Special young player. That Houston Texans team look ready. And they look dangerous. I made mention of this on the show. I was like, on Twitter, I was like, CJ Stroud, like he doesn't make mistakes. Like, to be a rookie quarterback, the guy does not play like a rookie quarterback. He makes very little, if any, mistakes. And what he does with the ball is incredible. The way he stands in the pocket and delivers beautiful touch passes, beautiful deep balls. I mean, this kid is lighting it up. There was a couple of throws he made. I was like, and this is no shot. I was like, if that was Josh Allen, he would have left the pocket. He would have left the pocket early. He would have scrambled to his right, try to make magic happen and look down the field. But C.J. Stroud stood in that pocket to the last minute, and he delivered some darts and some bombs, some beautiful passes. That guy is he is a budding superstar. No doubt about it. Which leads me to my question is who would you rather see in the playoffs? Like, assuming the Bills take care of business Monday. Hopefully they play the game Monday. Depending on what the weather conditions are like. Who would you rather see the Bills play? Would you rather the Bills play host to Kansas City Chiefs? Or to, well, matter of fact, I mean, it looks like they're going to be playing them anyway, right? So it doesn't make any difference. If the Bills win, they're playing home against the Kansas City Chiefs. But I guess later on in the playoffs, I mean, we'll see what happens, right? But man, that Houston Texans team, they look pretty dangerous, and they're young and hungry, and they're playing with a chip on their shoulder because people are talking about just how young they are. Like myself, I mean, the expectations were low because of how young they were, and they are just exceeding those expectations, and they're playing with that chip on their shoulder, saying like, yeah, even though we're young, we're hungry, and we're here, and you got to deal with it. So that's a team. That's a team that I don't know how many people want to actually play them. Matthew comes in with a super chat. Matthew Dovidio or Dovidio. I don't, man. If I butchered your last name, please forgive me. But I appreciate your super chat. He says, Bills Mafia is going to yell up a storm. Love you. Go Bills. 100%. And let's just talk about that for a second. Do we expect sold out Bills Mafia with these conditions? And furthermore, let me say this. Man, prayers are up to those who are in Buffalo and in the surrounding areas. Man, I hope you guys are safe right now, because I've seen some videos and some clips that have been kind of circulating, and it looks terrible out there. And it's no doubt, and it's I mean, it makes sense as to why Governor, and the commissioner decided to go ahead and push this game back. There's no reason for an NFL football team or an NFL football game being played in these kind of conditions right now. let alone people traveling and stuff like that. So y'all be safe. Get in your homes. Be safe. Don't get out unless you absolutely have to. If you don't, please stay home. Stay safe. Prayers are with y'all. That's nuts. And then of course you have your clowns on social media, as always. And of course, there's gonna be some like Dolphins fans or some idiotic Steelers fans trying to call the Buffalo Bills soft and Buffalo soft. Now, I'm not a Buffalonian and I'm not from Buffalo, but I took exception to that myself. I took offense to it. And I hope the team takes offense to it too, because that whole conversation about the Bills being soft just because they pushed the game back. Look, do I need to get into it? Do I really need to get into it? I hope I don't, but I'm gonna say it anyway. That's stupid. Okay. That kind of comment is just absolutely stupid. I've seen somebody, I think he was a Steelers fan, trying to make a video post and talk about how it's not snowing and Bills are soft, but he was nowhere near the snow band. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. Anyway, I hope the Bills come out and beat the dog crap out of the Steelers. I hope they do. No disrespect to the Steelers. Their fan base is getting kind of goofy. You know what I'm saying? They're getting goofy. And we need to not be remiss if I did not take this moment right now to laugh in the face of all the Dolphins fans out there right now. That's what y'all get. That's what y'all get. Man, Dolphins fans were insufferable all season long. Dolphins fans, and y'all gonna have to just deal with it right now, because they were talking big junk all year long about how this was their year, this was their time, and the Bills, weren't gonna win the division. It's all about the Dolphins and the Bills. I even heard some takes about the Bills, being third or fourth place in the division, and this is all about the Dolphins. It's between the Dolphins and the Jets. Dolphins this, Dolphins that, Dolphins is that. And then you've got Hard Knocks, and you've got your corny coach and Tua MVP talks and all this kind of talk. We sat there and we dealt with that nonsense all year long. All year long. And the Dolphins had what? A 3-game win. A 3-game hold on the division. 3 games. And what happened? What happened, Dolphins fans? Huh? Fins up. Where are y'all at? What happened? You choked. You choked. You choked. You choked. You choked. You fooled around and you let the Buffalo Bills come back. And we saw what happened last week. That was y'all's only hope, was winning last week against us, so that way you could play the game in Miami. You know good and darn well you did not want to go to Kansas City in that cold, outside of the comforts of warm southern Florida, and play that game. You didn't want to do it. We could tell. We knew it as soon as they lost, that they were dejected. It was done. They were going to make every excuse in the book. And they got there today, and they played like crap. It was bad. It was bad. But it was to be expected. I mean, did we expect anything else? Huh? Did we really expect anything else? These Dolphins, you wouldn't have called the Buffalo Bills frauds. The Miami Dolphins have to go out as the most fraudulent team in the 2023-2024 NFL season. Most fraudulent. They got all the hype, all the fanfare, all the love to an MVP candidate. Tyreek Hill this. Shout out to Tyreek. I mean, he did his thing all year. All of this talk. And for what? For what? For you to lose a division and get embarrassed in Kansas City. And now y'all sitting at home. And where's your franchise quarterback? What y'all gonna do next year? You gonna pay the man? Huh? You gonna pay Tua? What y'all gonna do, Dolphins fans? Y'all gonna pay Tua? Yeah, that's so funny. I had to talk about it. I had to get on here. You know, I had to do it because it was so hilarious. It was so, and I didn't even get a chance to go check out TD. I know he was losing himself. I can only imagine just how dejected TD was. I'm going to go back and watch it, and I'm going to laugh at it. And I'm probably going to clip it and put it on there. We'll see what happens. But it was incredibly funny. I loved every bit of it. No doubt. And the funny thing is, I was kind of pulling for Miami because I wanted to see him again. I really did. I was hoping they were able to get through the Chiefs and even, maybe get through the Ravens, because I wanted to see him home again in Buffalo again, just to put it on them a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? But they couldn't get past the Chiefs, who had absolutely no offense. None until the end of the game, really. All those field goals. But nevertheless, the Dolphins went out in a blaze of glory, which is what we expected to happen. Oh, man, it was so funny. It was so funny. Snook says, yo, the Dolphins were supposed to be the fastest offense. They were supposed to be, man, but look, they were frozen today. Frozen. And did y'all see Mike McDaniels? He was all bundled up. What happened to the T-shirt, baby? Huh? Last year, you was making T-shirts talking about, you know what I'm saying? It ain't cold enough, or whatever that dumb shirt was about. What happened? Huh? He was bundled up tonight, wasn't he? He was bundled all the way up, Jack. Oh, man, the Dolphins, they didn't want no part of that game. No part of that game at all. At all. But anyway, nevertheless, it is what it is. I take every moment I can to gloat in the Dolphins' failures. But the Bills have business to take care of Monday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But before I get into that talk about the Steelers, I had something that I wanted to bring up because I tweeted this out early this morning. And this just goes to show you just how much, I guess, these playoffs are like in my head, because I had a crazy nightmare. I call it a nightmare. Shout out to my man, Jeff King. Hey, Jeff, man, I love you too, buddy. Grace and peace, man, to you and your family. I had a nightmare. I call it a nightmare last night. And let me talk to you about it. So it was Buffalo Bills related. So in the dream, it was the Buffalo Bills were in a game against the Detroit Lions. Crazy, I know, right? It was the Bills and the Lions. And it seemed recent. So I'm assuming the only way they're going to play each other is in the Super Bowl. Now, I'm not saying we're going to see the Bills and Lions in the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that. Could be. We'll see. But this is what my dream was about. So, the Bills Lions were playing in the Super Bowl. And oh man, this almost like hurts me, just talking about it. So it was like, the dream took place, and it was like under a minute left in the game. Okay. It was like under a minute left in the game. The Lions had the ball. Okay. The Lions had the ball, and they were driving, and I knew that they had to score in order to win. And this was there. I don't remember the down and distance right here, but I felt like it was like a third down play because it was a very crucial down. And I saw McDermott in the defense. They called a zero blitz. And funny thing is, at that time, I was like, when I saw it, I was like screaming, like, no. And sure enough, what happened? The Lions picked up the blitz, and they threw a bomb. I don't know who it was to. I'm assuming it was. I really don't know. I'm not even going to say it. But nevertheless, the Lions scored on that play. McDermott brought the zero blitz. Lions picked it up, scored on that play. And the Lions took the lead 20-13. Now, I felt like at the time that like the Bills had lost the lead. And so I'm assuming like the score before then was probably like 13-12, because I knew the Bills had the lead and they're trying to hold it until that point. And then the Lions scored and then they took the lead. And so it had to have been like 13-12, and maybe like the Lions went for 2-point conversion, and they had a successful 2-point conversion, which kind of makes sense because we know that Dan Campbell he's very aggressive. And so they took the lead 20-13. I remember that score vividly, 20-13. And then I looked at the clock, and then sure enough, there would be like 13 seconds left. So weird, man. These dreams are crazy. So it was like 13 seconds left after the Lions scored to take the lead. But then, like on the ensuing kickoff, it was weird. And then all of a sudden, it's like the ref stopped it, and they awarded the Bills more time on the clock. And so like it went from 13 seconds to like 30 seconds or so. Weird. I don't know what happened. I don't understand what happened. But anyway, so Bills get the ball. This is the final drive the Bills have to score to either tie the game or take it into overtime. Right? I mean, tie the game with 7, go for 2 and win the game, or go in overtime with a tie. Right? And so on their first offensive series after they got the ball, what happens? A flag. False start. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Second down. What happens? Another false start penalty. And at that point, I'm like, oh my, you got to be freaking. The Bills are going to lose this game. Back-to-back false start penalties. Put the Bills in like third and forever. Nuts. Okay? Right? Crazy. And then all of a sudden, Josh Allen gets the ball, and my TV freezes. My TV went completely still. It froze. And then I woke up. I woke up. I woke up and I was like, oh, yo, what the heck just happened here? And I'm glad I woke up out of that dream, out of that nightmare, because it had collapse written all over it, and I did not want to see it at all. I wanted no parts of that. I wanted no parts of that. Yeah, Abby said, yo, this is a nightmare. That's exactly what it was. It was an absolute nightmare. And Walter says, yo, it's scary how real this all sounds. Isn't it? Because what was crazy was because like in crunch time, the Bills were holding on to a lead, and we've talked about like at times how like we want McDermott to be aggressive and not be conservative in those moments, but like it seemed like he didn't understand the situation. And the Bills had the lead like 13-12, I'm assuming. And all they had to do was stop him from scoring a touchdown. That's it. And so at that moment, you wanted them to protect the end zone, because a field goal wasn't going to win the game. A touchdown tied the game. They had to win it with the 2-point conversion. And what did McDermott do? He called a 0 blitz and got beat. And they scored. I was so mad. So mad, and I could not believe my eyes. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Is Sean McDermott choking on the biggest stage of his life right now? And are the Bills about to lose the Super Bowl because of another boneheaded coaching decision? And then what made it seem even more Billsy was that on the ensuing drive that Josh Allen had, the offense had back-to-back false starts. I mean, look, you can't write it up any better. I mean, you cannot write it up any better. And I am so glad I woke up completely out of that dream, because I want no part of that. So let's all knock on wood and pray, that does not happen. That was just a fluke nightmare that I'm not seeing in the future or anything like that. And let's just enjoy the moment right now. Okay. But I'll tell you this, if the Bills and the Lions end up going to the Super Bowl, oh my God, I'm not going to forget it. I'm not going to forget that moment, and I hope it never happens. So anyway, cheers to that terrible nightmare of a dream. Absolutely ridiculous nightmare that I'm glad I woke up from. But it felt so real. Oh, it was bad. C Rose comes in, asks a question. Rev, tell us how you became a Bills fan. And I love telling the story. And it's not a long story, but So I live in Texas, but my dad and his brothers, my dad, my family, my dad's side of the family, they all grew up in Buffalo. So my dad's from Buffalo. He was born in Utica, New York, and so they were raised in Buffalo. I think even like I think they were in. I want to say East Buffalo. I think is where they were from. And so when my dad and them got married and they moved to Texas, I mean I just became a Bills fan. Just like any other son would want to follow in their dad's footsteps. I mean, my dad was a Bills fan, and we watched some games together, and I just became a Bills fan just like that, man. Just watching my dad, and to this day, not now, but like during the drought years, he would always apologize to me. He would say, "Son, man, I am so sorry I turned you into a Bills fan." He would genuinely apologize and say, "Dad, look, don't no need to apologize for it. I wouldn't change it for anything." And there are moments where I wished I wasn't a Bills fan, but I couldn't. I can't get rid of them. So even though I'm not a Buffalonian, even though I'm not a New Yorker, I'm a Texan. I consider myself a displaced Buffalonian, and I believe Bills blue, red, and white, man, through and through. And I've been a Bills fan my entire life. Hardcore, diehard Bills fan, and ain't nothing changing. So that's my story about becoming a Bills fan. I'm glad you asked that. But I mean, since you brought that up, I mean, might as well, man. You guys, drop it in the chat, man. Like how you became a Bills fan. You can just make it real short, man. Just talk about because I love hearing people's stories about how they became fans of this team. I mean, and hey, it doesn't matter if with generational gaps, and I mean nothing. It doesn't matter because you have the younger generation now who they may not have the same foundation, or they may not have the same story, and they may latch on to certain players because that's kind of how it is nowadays. It's all good, man. It's all good. Like I've been with this team forever, man. Like as far as I can remember, I go as far back as to let me see here. My earliest memory of the Bills was I vaguely remember Bills Redskins at the time Super Bowl. Vaguely remember that one. But I remember the Cowboys Super Bowls. I was young enough to remember that. And I remember you have the Steelers one. I mean, not the Steelers one. I'm sorry. The second Super Bowl against the Cowboys. I actually thought we were going to win because the Bills were up at halftime. Y'all remember that? The Bills were up. And I thought we were going to win, and then we lost. And I remember crying on my couch. Crying. So heartbroken. And anyway, it's the life of a Bills fan. All right. But now we get to enjoy some success. The Bills are good now. And for those who just jumped in on the bandwagon, enjoying the Bills' success, and you don't have any recollection of that past history, it's all good. It's all good, man. It doesn't matter what brought you here. We're all together. That's what makes the Buffalo Bills and Bills Mafia a unique fan base. One Buffalo, Bills Mafia till I die, baby. That's it is what it is, man. Let me go through some of the chat, man. Some of the comments here because I want to read. I want to read how you guys became Bills fans. Let me see here. I don't want to even pronounce it because I don't want to mess it up. I think it says Necomex Beltran. He says, "Yo, I saw a game here in Mexico in 1990, and I became a fan. A year later, I found out my grandfather lived in Buffalo in the 40s for 6 months." That is an incredible story, man. Absolutely incredible story. Shout out to you. So glad you became a Bills fan. That is amazing. Let me see here. C. Rose says, "Yo, I went to Buffalo State. A friend took me to a Bills game, met Jim Kelly's family. Wow. And that was it. I live in the NYC area, but I wear my red, white, and blue." That's amazing. That's amazing. And you know what? As a Bills fan, I have never been to a Bills game. Never. In all my years, I've never been to a professional, I've never been to an NFL game at all. I know, right? Just never been able to do it. And Like one of my dreams, man, is to be able to go to a Bills game, home game. Now I'm a Texan, so y'all can call me soft, whatever, but you're not gonna catch me in December or in weather like I can't stand the cold weather like that. Uh, I had to come up with some crazy layers, and y'all gonna laugh at me. You're gonna judge me. I'm gonna feel some type of way about it. You know, so if I go to a Bills game, if I'm able to go to it, it has to be early in the year at home, like season opener, home opener or something like that. That's when you'll catch me probably. But I guarantee you this: the Bills win a Super Bowl this year, I will suffer. I will suffer my Texas butt off and a Buffalo Bills Super Bowl parade. I'll freeze. I don't care. I'll freeze for that. Going through some more of the comments here. Wilma says, been a serious Bills fan since 2013 from my grandma and my dad's side of the family. Couldn't stop watching since through thick and thin. And that's kind of it's been my experience, with other Bills fans. It's like once you watch them, it's like you're hooked, right? You're hooked, and you can't get that hook out of your mouth, and you don't want to. It's like once the Bills lure you in, it's a wrap. You're done. You're in there for life. You can't get out of this club. You really can't. And I enjoy it, man. I would not. I don't want it any other kind of way. Let me see here. Yo, Huck Music 808 says, yo, met OJ in Hawaii in 81. Wow. Then went to U Buff, met Don Beebe and Frank Wright. Hawaii Bills Mafia. Shout out all the way in Hawaii. That's amazing. Met OJ, Don Beebe, and Frank Wright. Wow. Incredible. Hold on. I saw one. Looks like I saw one from the UK. Here we go. Looks like it's Kier Harness says, yo, UK fan and the Bills K gun was electric. Compared to the NFC teams, no choice but Buffalo in the 90s. 100%. The Buffalo, man, look, the Bills in the 90s were they're a must-see TV. Must-see TV. I love the Bills in the 90s. That incredible team. Incredible team. Chock full of Hall of Famers. Now, probably my favorite player of that era for me was Thurman Thomas. Love Thurman Thomas. Was fortunate enough to even get a jersey. I got a signed jersey. Was given to me by a gift. I've got a signed Thurman Thomas jersey, man. My absolute favorite player of that era. Loved him. Andre Reed, of course, Jim Kelly, man. Bruce Smith, man. All those guys, man. Look, Daryl Talley, Steve Tasker. Incredible era of football. Incredible age of the Buffalo Bills. And it goes from that age to now the new era. The new era Buffalo Bills who are writing their own story. These Buffalo Bills now featuring Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs and Deion Dawkins and Tre'Davious White, though he's been injured. But you've got all these incredible players who have made up this team right now with Sean McDermott and the front office staff. It's an incredible moment, an incredible time to be a Buffalo Bills fan. Like we're witnessing this young team right now write their own story. And they have the pens in their hands and they control it. They control their own story. They control how this thing is written. And I hope to God that in this story, in our lifetimes, we are able to see the Buffalo Bills hoist up a Vince Lombardi trophy. Man, what a day that will be. What a day that will be. I will be a hot mess. I'll be in complete tears. I'm not even ashamed to even say it. I will be a mess, an emotional wreck. So let's hope that this is the year. Let's hope that this is the year. But it starts Monday. We have hopes and dreams and aspirations of the Bills winning the Super Bowl. But this is part of the process. They have to get past the Pittsburgh Steelers, who they are playing now on Monday instead of tomorrow because of the inclement weather. And so let's jump right into that. Let's jump right on into this conversation here about the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills. Man, what a game this is going to be. What a game this is going to be. When you look at these two teams, one could say that both of them have faced some degree of adversity. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers have been many teams. I mean, many people have written them completely off. The year wrote them completely off. You look at the Steelers' record and what they were going through the year, man, and how they were still able to, especially towards the tail end of the year, manage to keep winning and keep winning and keep winning and keep winning. Like, that's a testament to that team. It's a testament to that organization. It's a testament to the head coach, Mike Tomlin, who I think is one of the greatest head coaches of our modern day. They just find ways to win. They find ways to win. It's not pretty, right? It's not pretty. It really isn't. But who said it has to be? Because when it boils down to it, and you get to this stage right now, the end of the regular season, and you enter in the playoffs, it does not matter what the previous 18 weeks look like. You could be flying high and soaring high and cruising all year long. Or you could have incredible adversity, like the Buffalo Bills, almost being completely knocked out of the playoffs. I think at one point, the 11th seed in the AFC, 6-6, firing their offensive coordinator. Everybody against them, writing them completely off. And then all of a sudden, they go on a 5-game win streak, snatch back the division, and here they are, the 2 seed in the AFC with an 11-6 record. Like, you can't write that up. You can't write that up. And who's going to complain about how the season went? It doesn't matter, because now you're in it, and everybody is 0-0. Well, before today's games, obviously, but so what happened the previous 18 weeks matters nothing, right? It doesn't matter at all. You're here. You got here. It's a testament to your football team, your mindset. And here we have these two teams. The Buffalo Bills, 11-6. Pittsburgh Steelers, 10-7. And you go back and you look at these teams and you look at some of the ways in which they won and they lost, and look at the ups and downs, and it's crazy. Like, who would have thought the Pittsburgh Steelers would be here? Right here. But here they are. Right, here they are. Now, we can talk about them all we want. We could say, look, they have, their quarterback, Kenny Pickett, is this and that. They're coming in here with no TJ Watt. They've got Mason Rudolph and blah, 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 blah. And the Bills should just have their way with them. Well, on paper, you may say that, but at the end of the day, man, look, it's the playoffs. It is the playoffs, and you cannot take any team lightly. Any team lightly. I'm sure the Cleveland Browns fan bases, I don't think the Browns team themselves thought this, but I'm sure Browns fans were incredibly confident going into today's game. Thought there was no way in the world a rookie quarterback, as good as he is, but a rookie quarterback was going to be able to win against a team that had the number 1 defense in the NFL and experience on the side. Joe Flacco, who's been playing incredibly well since he got on the team. I'm sure they thought there's no way it was going to happen. But once again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because this is not the NBA. And this is the beauty of the NFL. You don't get 7 games to determine who's a better team. It's one game. It's one game. You've got one game, one shot to prove that you deserve to move on. It's do or die. Win and move on, lose and go home. That's the end of your season. The stakes could not be higher. It is an incredible atmosphere. That's what makes the NFL king, in my opinion. And when you're in this position right now in the playoffs, pressure's on. Because you can play 7 games, and the better team would likely win the majority of those games if it were a series like that. But you've got to be the best team and the better team on that particular day, that particular night. Doesn't matter. Record doesn't mean anything. So it makes it crazy. That's why nerves are high and blood pressure is rising and fans are losing their minds. And that's what makes it so incredible. And here we are with potentially another incredible game on our hands. The Buffalo Bills, the number 2 seed, welcoming the Pittsburgh Steelers. Coming into Highmark Stadium. You know it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a dogfight. And I want to ask you guys, is there anything in particular, when you look at this matchup between the Steelers, is there anything in particular that concerns you? Is there anything that the Bills should be concerned about? Because for me, I don't want this team to overlook anybody at all. Though I fully believe, and I know without a doubt, that we are the better team on paper. But the question is, will the better team prevail? Will the Bills prevail Monday? Or will they play down to their opponent like we've seen so many times this year so far? Or will they handle their business? What concerns you? I see already. LXB says you'll drop passes. Yep, I can see that. Mango Muffin says, the running game. Okay, whose running game concerns you? The Steelers running game or the Bills running game? I'm assuming the Steelers running game. And to that, I would agree. Blind Man Stone says Harris. All right, so let's just talk about that. Let's talk about that real quickly. Yeah, the Steelers run game, crazy. Now, I don't have the stats with me off the top. Matter of fact, let me pull it up. Let me see if I can pull it up real quickly. Because I don't know where the Steelers ended the regular season in terms of rushing stats and all of that. But I do know that Najee Harris ran for over 1,000 yards, 1,035 yards for the season, 8 touchdowns for Najee Harris, averaging just over 4 yards per carry. Okay, that guy is a load. That guy's a load. And then not only do you have Najee, you have Jaylen Warren, and they have an incredible 1-2 punch in the backfield. Right? Jaylen Warren almost rushed for 1,000 yards. He rushed for 784 yards, averaging 5.3 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns. We know that the Pittsburgh Steelers' bread and butter is their run game. But not only is it their run game, but it is, and I just saw the comment here. Where'd it go? Because we know they have an incredible run game. We know that. But not only is it the run game that we have to be concerned about, but it is the overall essence of that team. Which, like Rico says, shout out to Rico in the chat. He says, it's the Steelers' physicality. That, to me, is what would bring some level of concern. The Bills have to make sure they match that level of physicality. Because the Steelers are bringing it. They are bringing it. And when we look at the weather conditions and all that, we know it's a wash. It's not going to be an advantage for the Bills. Some might argue it could be an advantage for the Steelers because they are known to be the more physical football team. That's how Mike Tomlin and that entire organization plays. That's their identity. That's who they are. When you think of the Pittsburgh Steelers, what comes to mind? You think of tough, hard-nosed, punch you in the mouth football. And that's exactly how they play. And it starts not just with the run game, but it starts on the defensive side of the ball too. And when the defense is suffocating, they keep the game close. And they pound you and pound you and pound you and pound you with Najee Harris, 240-pound back. And then Jalen Warren, who's faster, but he's just as physical. And they pound you all game long. And you have to be willing to not just sustain, to take it. You got to be willing to punch back and match that level of physicality for 60 minutes of football. That's what the Buffalo Bills are up against. And trust me, don't mistake my respect for being afraid, okay? Because this is not me, oh, Rev is just afraid of the Steelers. No, this is not me being afraid. I'm just laying it out. I'm just laying it out, and I'm just talking about what the Bills need to look out for and what we can expect. And what could be a concern. Because we also know that the Bills have a tendency of not being the best tackling team. And when you've got the weather on top, you get the elements, and then you've got to tackle 240-pound Najee Harris and big boy Jalen Warren too. You've got to come with it. You've got to wrap up. You have to. You have to. But not only do you have that, not only do you have to be concerned about the running game of the Pittsburgh Steelers and their physicality. Mason Rudolph has been doing a pretty good job since he took over the starting position. And they have wide receivers. I think there's a tendency to kind of overlook the Steelers and overlook their weapons because you think, well, they're the Steelers and they're no, we just assume they're no good. Look at their record and all that kind of, I mean, they're just one game back from the Bills. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? They've got a guy who's an absolute dog by the name of George Pickens. We know him, right? But then not only do they have him, but they got Deontay Johnson. And then they have a tight end by the name of Pat Freiermuth, who's another dog. So they have a three-headed receiving core, three-headed monster at wide receiver, or in the receiving game that the Bills have to account for as well. So not only do the Bills have to be prepared for the run game and the elements, but they also have to be prepared for Mason Rudolph to dish it out to George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, and Pat Freiermuth. It's going to be a tough game. At least that's how I see it. I don't see this as being the Bills are just going to slap the snot out of them and beat the brakes off. I don't see that. I don't see it. And you'll find out my pick, of course, here later in the show as we wrap up the show. But it's going to be close. I have a feeling it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a slugfest, is what I'm thinking as well. And so the Bills have to come prepared for this game. I want to take a look at some of their stats. I want to look at let's see if I can pull up their receiving stats. I want to look at George Pickens. I like George Pickens a lot. George Pickens. Look, would you have guessed? Matter of fact, let me ask the question to the chat. How many receiving yards would you guess George Pickens has on the year? How many? Put it in the chat. How many do you think he has on the year? When you consider who's throwing him the ball, a combination of of Kenny Pickett and then, Mason Rudolph. How many receiving yards do you think George Pickens has on the year? Mango Muffin says, 900. Okay. 900 or 800. Okay. I saw somebody say 60-ish. And I'm like, you tripping. Blind Man Stone just might be blind for saying 60. I'll tell you what it is. George Pickens this year, 1,140 yards receiving. 1,140 yards receiving. Michael Williams said, guess, 1,100 plus. That's right. With Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett, George Pickens has 1,100 yards receiving. Meanwhile, and I got to do it, right? I got to do it. Meanwhile, our boy Stephon Diggs, with arguably the best quarterback in the NFL, 1,183 yards on the year. So here on one hand, you've got George Pickens putting up 1,140 yards. And get this, on only 63 receptions with 5 touchdowns. Whereas our man Stephon Diggs, 1,183 yards on 107 receptions with 8 touchdowns. He's a guy. What I'm trying to say is George Pickens is a guy we got to watch out for. We have to make sure we account for George Pickens because he is a guy who can get behind the defense and make you look silly. I don't care who's defending him. He may get Christian Benford, but it doesn't matter because George Pickens is him. He's one of them dudes, man. He really is. I like him a lot, man. And they like to get him going behind that run game. Then you've got Deontay Johnson. And you got Pat Freiermuth. So what I'm saying, Bills Mafia, is I'm not trying to put fear in you. What I'm saying is, and I think Sean McDermott has said this before too. We have a healthy respect for our opponent. Just have a healthy respect for the opponent. Okay. We can talk trash all we want. I mean, all that's fun and games. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to be sitting here saying, the Bills are going to beat the brakes off them. It's going to be a hard-fought game. If the Bills want to win, they got to slug it out because this is a chippy team. Okay? But we have something I guess that's in our favor, right? Because we do know that when we look at this Steelers game and the Steelers team, they are without arguably their best player, not just on defense, but probably on the entire team, and that is TJ Watt. TJ Watt, unfortunate injury that he sustained, knee injury, but he is out. And so they are not going to have TJ Watt on the field, but they still have Alex Highsmith. Okay. I want to pull up their injury report because I want to see if there's anybody else. Let me see here that I missed. I know we all know that TJ Watt is the main one. Let me see here. I'm trying to pull it up right now. And if you guys know it off the top, if you guys know of any other Steelers who are going to be out in this game, please just drop it in the chat and let me know. But I'm trying to pull it up right now to see who's going to be out for this game. It looks like he may be the only one. Or I'm on the wrong site here. Because I'm looking at it, and it looks like they're getting pretty healthy. Outside of TJ Watt. Najee Harris had a knee injury. Minkah Fitzpatrick had a knee injury. Linebacker Landon Roberts had a pec injury, and defensive tackle Cam Hayward had a groin injury. But they were all limited at points in practice during this week, but they participated fully on Friday and are good to go for Sunday's game. So they're gonna be playing. So it looks like to me, who's out? You got TJ Watt out. Everybody else is active. Safety Trent Thompson, he was on IR, out for the season. Quan Alexander, we know he's out for the season, but that was back in November. Anybody recently? No. So the only one so far that I can see is TJ Watt. Everybody else who was on the injury report, they're likely going to play because they practiced at some, they practiced, even if it was a limited participation, they practiced Friday. So we can expect a healthier Steelers team minus TJ Watt. Okay. On the Bills side of the ball, let me see here. Did I see? So on the Bills side of the ball, the only person that we have that's currently out for the game is Gabe Davis. All right. But now we have to be mindful of the fact that linebacker Terrell Dodson and cornerback Russell Douglas are both questionable for the game. Oh, I forgot to mention Taylor Rapp. Taylor Rapp is also out for the game. So there we got Gabe Davis out, Taylor Rapp out, and then Dodson and Douglas are questionable. Now, there may be a chance that Dodson plays because there's only one day in which he did not participate in practice, and that was Thursday, but he was limited both Wednesday and Friday. So he could play. I think his chances of playing are far greater than Rasul Douglas, who's currently questionable, but he did not participate at all in practice all week. So if Rasul Douglas is out, that means you've got Christian Benford and Dane Jackson. But the question I want to ask is, man, is there anybody that the Bills bring up this game, considering the fact that they are, they're without a couple of players and could be without, two more in Dodson and Douglas? Is there anybody on the Bills team who you think does not need to be playing and who you think does need to play? For me, there's one player in particular who I think is just wasting a roster spot. It's completely wasting a roster spot. And I get it. I understand why they're trying to keep this guy playing, but in hopes of him, becoming this, you get vintage closer. But that's Von Miller. Von Miller, he needs to be out. I'm sorry. He should have been out last week. I don't know why they played him last week. It should have been Kingsley Jonathan, but instead they decided to trot out Von Miller, who, when we all saw the video of him walking out of the tunnel, had a noticeable limp that appeared to be favoring his right knee, or the knee in which he suffered or sustained his ACL injury. But nevertheless, they still played him. And what did he do? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now, look, we've had virtually the majority of the regular season to determine whether or not this guy was going to get back in the swing of things. He has not done anything all year. So why on God's green earth is he still active on game day? Why? They sent him out one game, deactivated him one game. For what? For what? Just to bring him back the following week for him to do nothing again. Like, to me, like, and I get it. If this is an injury thing, like, sit him. It's okay. It's okay. And we can talk about the contract all we want, but I mean, if he's not healthy, sit him. Because even him at 75%, he's not better than Kingsley Jonathan at 75%. You know what I'm saying? He's not better than anybody. Get him off the field. Get him off the field and allow the team to use that roster spot wisely, or in a better way. Because now you look at it, and now you've got injuries here, and you could be without Russell Douglas, and we know, all right, so Dane Jackson is going to get the call, and so you got Dane Jackson who's going to be playing beside Christian Benford. But who else? Who else at cornerback are you going to play? You've got to call up Kaiir Elam, right? And that's me. I think you have to. I mean, you've got Cam Lewis, yeah, but to me, like, this has to be the time in which you have to bring up Kaiir Elam. You have to do that. Just for number's sake. Because suppose, hypothetically speaking here, suppose you sustain an injury to another cornerback, and I hope this doesn't happen, knocking on wood and all that kind of stuff. You're going to be incredibly thin. And I would sure hate to have to wait and see sometime Monday, the Bills pull out their inactive list, and you got Kaiir Elam inactive in a game where they're incredibly thin at cornerback. I'll be highly upset. Highly upset. And you got Von Miller active. Let's not have that. Okay. Let's not have it. Let's not have it. And then you got Gabe Davis, who's out. Now, Gabe Davis has been a lightning rod for the Buffalo Bills, and really for a lot of Bills Mafia this year, because he just has not really been living up to the bargain, and he hasn't really been doing much this year. It's been an off year for Gabe Davis. Off year. And he sustained an injury last week, and you hate to see it, right? I mean, you really do. And I don't wish injury on anybody. And Gabe Davis sustained an injury, and he's out this game. And it's just unfortunate because he's in a contract year and he's trying to make some money, but the numbers aren't quite there. And then he's sustained his injury. He's going to be out in the playoffs. How much does his absence impact the Buffalo Bills offense? Or does it at all? Because we know Gabe, right? We know he's been up or down. He's been up or down, boom or bust. He's had multiple games in which he has had 0 targets, 0 receptions, but he's a good blocker. Like, is that what we expect out of our number 2? Out of our wide receiver 2, quote unquote, finger quotes here, is just, he's a good blocker. Is that how low the bar is now? You know what I'm saying? Like, great guy, no doubt. Hard worker, a captain. He's got the C on his chest, right? He earned it. Off year for Gabe. Very inconsistent, but really inconsistency has been his MO his entire career. How much does his absence, though, impact the Bills' offense? Or does it? That's my question I'm asking the chat. I realize he's good at blocking. So if we lose him, so are we losing that aspect of his game? Because to me, Trent Sherfield is a very good run blocker, in his own right. Not as big as Gabe, obviously, but he's a very good run blocker in his own right. I think the only thing you could miss this game is the potential for Gabe, for one of those Gabe Davis boom games. You know what I'm saying? Because he's so up or down, you just don't know. And this game could be the game in which he booms. But with the elements, you never know. It could be a nothing burger for Gabe. So for me, I'm indifferent. Because when I look at his production on a consistency basis, I think, you know what? Hey, man, put Sherfield in, and maybe, Sherfield, is can be consistent and give us something more than Gabe has so far this year. Let me know what you guys think about it. I've got a super chat that just came in. Hold on, where's it? Let me see if I can pull it up. My bad. You guys, please forgive me. Let me see if I can go back up to it. I just saw it here. Where'd it go? Where is it? Here it is. Super chat from PVC Fam 4. He says, "Yo, do we use Fournette more in this game? Seems like his kind of party, unless Ty Johnson is clear. Good looking out on the late night tip. Salute to PVC Fam. I appreciate the super chat. So to answer his question, I think, first of all, Ty Johnson appears to be healthy enough to play, right? He's been limited all week. And look at the injury report. He was limited all week, and so with a concussion. Okay, so I'm assuming that he's going to be back and playing in this game. Okay, and he's cleared concussion protocol. My thing is his shoulder. How is his shoulder back healthy and back right? It's not listed on the injury report, so we have to assume that he's fine. If he's fine, I think you play Ty Johnson over Leonard Fournette. And I'll say this: as much as I was wanting to see Leonard Fournette, I think Ty Johnson offers more. I'll just be honest. Maybe Leonard Fournette's best days are beyond him, and maybe he's not who he once was. Even like back in the Super Bowl days when he was playing with the Bucs and Tom Brady. Granted, yeah, he can give you a few yards here and there, but I think Ty Johnson offers you more. I believe Ty Johnson is the more explosive back, and he's just as physical. So if Ty Johnson is healthy, to me, I think he should get the call over Leonard Fournette. However, we just don't know, right? We just don't know how the Bills' offense and how the coaching staff feels about it. But for me, I think you have unlimited uses of the practice squad with Leonard Fournette. You can call him up as many times as you want in the playoffs, so it doesn't affect you none. But so if Ty Johnson is healthy, you can sit Leonard Fournette out and play Ty Johnson, who I think, like I said earlier, is the more physical. The more physical, more explosive back of the two. So I like Ty Johnson. So those are my thoughts on that. I don't think I missed any more super chats. You guys let me know if I missed anybody else's, but I don't think I did. Let me see here. I'm trying to go through it here. Yeah, no, I don't think I missed any more. So anyway, those are my thoughts with Leonard Fournette and Ty Johnson. But I do have another question that I want to pose to the chat. And that is, like, what kind of offense can we expect this game for the Buffalo Bills? Do you anticipate the Bills and Josh Allen playing down to their opponent? Or do you foresee the Bills handling business as they should? Because as I mentioned earlier, I believe that the Bills are the better team. I think they are the better team. Now, the question is whether or not they will prove to be the better team on Monday. But the Bills have a propensity to play down. So what are we thinking here? Who are we going to see? What type of offense are we going to see, or can we expect? For me, I think at this point, now granted, the Buffalo Bills can shock the world, and they can really come out. And this is the thing about the Bills team and in this offense, is that they really can turn it on, and at any point, no matter what game they're playing, they can just turn it on and they can just be a completely dominant team and beat the brakes off of anybody. They really can. Then they have times in which they make it look more difficult than it should be. But I will say this. I'm not concerned about what type of offense shows up. So long as we don't see the mistake-prone Josh Allen, multiple interception prone offense. Because even if it's a tough game, I feel like this team now, the way this team is built and the way they've been winning here lately, it gives me confidence in that they have found a way in which to win that works for them. And what I mean by that is this: is how many times have you heard the saying, the Bills can't, or the narrative that the Bills can't win close games, or the Bills, they can't do this and they can't do that. The Bills have been winning close games for the past several weeks. And I think what I can expect is a tenacious team that does not give up and has no quit in them. And even if they happen to find themselves down or not performing their best, like a la last week in the first half of the Dolphins game, they have the ability to come back and turn it on, even if it's in the fourth quarter. They have that ability, and so I'm no longer worried in that regard. Does that make sense? I think that they've shown me enough now, really throughout this win streak, that this team can either blow you out or they can get it in the mud. You know what I'm saying? Really, like they can either beat the ever living you know what out of a team like the Dallas Cowboys 31-10, or they can go on a slugfest, you know, against a division rival and beat them by 7. It doesn't matter. Like, this team is built tough, and that's what I lay my hat on. Is believing in the fact that the Buffalo Bills, no matter what happens, I think that they still come out on top. I believe they come out on top, no matter if it's ugly or not. If they have to win a gritty game, I think they can do it. If they have to prove to be the more physical team, I believe they can do it. Even against a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I really do, man. I absolutely do. I do. And this is where I want to talk about here is when you look at this team and you look at this game and these matchups here, who do you believe is going to be the unsung hero of this game? Who's going to be the unsung hero? Who's that one player that nobody's expecting to really do anything, and this particular player is part of the reason why the Bills come out with a victory on Monday? Who is that player for you? And it can be on offense or on defense. To me, I would say on offense, I think it could be Khalil Shakir. I do. I believe it could be Khalil Shakir. I love everything that this brother's been doing all year, and whenever he gets the opportunity, he just performs. Does he not? I mean, when you look at his numbers, let me pull him up here. Let me pull him up because Khalil, man, like I think that he is on a Gabe Davis like trajectory in his early career, and what I mean by that is, we saw Gabe in spot duty early in his career, right? As like the wide receiver 3 or 4 or whatever, and he was doing well, but all of a sudden, in his third year, when he got elevated to wide receiver 2, he bumped up, and he put up some numbers. He really did. Also, I mean, if it had not been for injury and an ankle injury that was bothering him all year, he probably would have had 1,000 yards last year. Okay, as inconsistent as he was, and with his catch percentage as low as it is. But when you look at Khalil Shakir over his career, I can see a similar trajectory for him. I mean, his rookie year, he was barely used. He had 161 yards receiving his own entire year on 10 receptions. But we saw glimpses of man, if they play Shakir more, I think he really has a shot to do something. And this year so far, I mean, he's gotten a bump in production and a bump in opportunities. And on 39 receptions for the regular season, he has 611 yards, 611 receiving yards, averaging over 15 and a half yards per reception. Only 2 touchdowns. But what I like the most is his catch percentage. Because if I'm not mistaken, The last time I checked, and I think this was before the Dolphins game, though, he had a catch rate of close to 80% in games that he had 3 receptions or more. He averaged like over 80% catch rate. It's ridiculous. This year, he's averaging 86.7% catch rate. It's nuts. And we see how clutch he is. And so while the Steelers are going to be paying attention to Stephon Diggs, I think Khalil Shakir has an opportunity to really break out and be that receiver who shows up and shows out in this game. Yeah, I'm looking at 86.7. Your Mango Muffin says 86.7 now. It's nuts. It's crazy, man. Like this guy is, and I went on record, I think last week I said, I asked a question, I said, which player on the Bills offense, not named Josh Allen, do you trust the most? And I said Khalil Shakir. And I meant it. I said it with my chest. I said Khalil Shakir. And I know it may sound sacrilegious because you look at, you got Stephon Diggs, man. What are you talking about? Yeah, but Diggs hadn't really been doing much of anything for a pretty good while now. He really hadn't. Now they finally featured him more last week, but he really hadn't. But every time Khalil Shakir gets on the field and they target him, what happens? He's money. Catching passes behind him that Josh throws behind him, and then taking off for yards after the catch. And we all saw that long reception that he had. Well, it was really a lot of yards after the catch against the Dolphins on the sideline, where he almost scored and he broke free, but he just narrowly got shoved out of bounds. Otherwise, he would have scored. And we forget how fast he is too, because in the combine, the brother ran like a 4.45 or 4.43. He's fast, and he's 6 foot, just under 200 pounds. So he's not a small receiver either. So Khalil, man, like I think this is the game. Now that Gabe Davis is not going to be playing, I think this is a game where Khalil Shakir can really put a stamp on not only himself but his future, and really make the Buffalo Bills have an uncomfortable decision to make regarding Gabe Davis going forward at the conclusion of the season. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really think that this could be a Khalil Shakir game where he's like, yo, I'm him. And where he almost makes Gabe Davis, even though he's a first-year captain, he makes him expendable. He makes him expendable. You look at what did he do last week? Khalil Shakir, 6 targets, 6 receptions, 105 yards receiving, 17.5 yards per reception, 46 yards was his long. Ridiculous. 100% catch on 6 targets. 6 targets. He caught all of them. Every last one of them. And had over 100 yards receiving. For over 17 yards per reception. I'm telling you right now, if you hadn't heard it yet, you heard it right now. Khalil Shakir is going to be that guy. And as Ebony says, he is definitely reliable. 100% definitely reliable. And Mr. Migo says, Shakir has a chance to prove it. I believe he does. And Edward brings up a good point. He says, and Kincaid is a great tight end option. And how good is it? When you look at it, let me just say this. The future, in my opinion, is bright for the Bills on offense, because though they have Stephon Diggs, who's aging, he's 30 right now. He won't turn 31 until November of next year, I think. But he's still playing at a high level, at an elite level. You have him still. But you have two young receiving weapons who are still on their rookie contracts in Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid, who have incredible promise in this offense. And then on top of that, you have to assume that Brandon Beane is going to add more receiving talent to this team, whether it's via this free agency or in the draft. And if he can add another receiving weapon in the draft, a young player, then that will give the Bills 3 young receiving weapons, all 3 on rookie contracts. The future is bright for the Buffalo Bills, ladies and gentlemen. It absolutely is. Kudos to Brandon Beane and his scouting department for what they were able to do by bringing Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid. And I think Kincaid has another opportunity as well before him in this game. I love the Bills' weapons. You know what? And I think the Bills are best. I think Josh Allen is best when he's able to spread the ball around, don't you? When he's not so hyper focused on Stephon Diggs. I mean, he understands that Diggs is the guy, right? He's his number one, right? So he has to target him. But when he's able to spread the ball out, he's at his best in that capacity. Like, let me go back to last week. I'm going to go back to last week and let's look at these numbers. So look at this. Khalil Shakir, 6 receptions, 105 yards receiving. Stephon Diggs, 7 receptions, 87 yards. Dalton Kincaid, 7 receptions, 84 yards. And then you got Trent Sherfield sprinkled in with 3 for 24. Dawson Knox, he had a couple of receptions for 22 yards. And then James Cook out of the backfield. And then obviously Gabe Davis got hurt. 0 receptions, 0 yards. Okay? But just look at the way Josh was spreading the ball around. Khalil Shakir, Stephon Diggs, Dalton Kincaid. That is the Bills' big 3 going forward. Shakir, Diggs, Kincaid. Those 3 right there. Plus you've got James Cook out of the backfield. I think, look, I'll put those 3 weapons in, and then you include James Cook up against anybody else in this playoffs right now. Plus we got Josh Allen throwing in the ball. Man, look, I'm telling you right now, if Josh Allen and the Bills offense plays a mistake-free game for the most part, who's beating this team? Who's beating them? Huh? Who is? Nobody but themselves. Nobody but themselves. And Ebony asked, what about Justin Shorter? Is he still injured? Yeah. So Justin Shorter, they put him back on IR. So they activated his practice window, and then they put him back on IR. So he's shut down for the rest of the year. But you have Justin Shorter too, who's like 6'3", 6'4", 230 pounds. A big body receiver. Not that fast. I think he ran like a 4.5. But we don't know much about him. We haven't seen him in the regular season. We don't know what he can do. But you have him going into next year too. Another weapon. So anyway, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself by looking, into the future. But for right now, the Bills have enough weapons on offense to go all the way. It's just a matter of them handling business, right? They got to take care of business. They have to take care of business. So for me, offensively, when I look at the Buffalo Bills and I say who could be the unsung hero on offense, to me, it's Khalil Shakir. It's Shakir. On the defensive side of the ball, who do I think could be an unsung hero on defense? It's kind of tough because let me see. Who are they going to be? So they're going to be without Taylor Rapp. So that limits their ability to run that dime package that they have with 3 safeties. But they probably don't need to really run that as much against the Steelers. Unsung hero on the defensive side of the ball. That's a tough one. Golly. I think it could be Dane Jackson. I think it could be Dane Jackson. And I'll say this. Here's why. Here's why. We poo-poo a lot on Dane Jackson. I do my fair share as well. But there are moments in times where Dane Jackson, and he's probably in some ways like the Gabe Davis of the defense, right? On defense, he's kind of up or down. You'll have a game where he's getting torched, and then you have a game where he's just like on fire. You're like, dang, come. Like, where'd he come from? I think this could be a game where Dane Jackson has himself a game. I do. I can see Dane Jackson really shutting down his side of the field, whether he's on Deontay Johnson or George Pickens. I'm thinking he probably going to be on Johnson. I can see Dane Jackson having himself a good game, and I would venture to say he probably has a pick and a couple of pass breakups in the game. Dane Jackson, and the more I say it, the more I like it, because he's just prone to do it. And I know he's inconsistent, but which is why I said he's kind of like the Gabe Davis, on defense. But he has the ability to do it. And I think when his number's called, and in this type of a moment, why not Dane? Why not Dane? Mr. Let me see here. Where'd it go? My bad. Mr. West Ashley says, yo, it's Ed Oliver. Shake Mason up. You win. Now, I don't think it's going to be all that difficult for the Bills and Sean McDermott to shake him up. Now, it's all about how quickly he gets rid of the ball, or if he just, or even if the Steelers, allow him to sit back in the pocket, that much, knowing that the Bills have a pass rush that can get after him. They may just hand the ball off and throw the ball sparingly. It depends on the flow of the game. We really can't determine that right now. We have to see how the game transpires early. But he's not a quarterback that I'm concerned about. You know what I'm saying? I view him much like I view Tua. You can rattle him. You can get after him. And he's not mobile at all. So if Ed Oliver is able to get in there, if our pass rush is able to get after him up the middle, I think it's going to be a long game for him. A long game. So they better hope that their run game is effective and they stick with it. But if these big boys on the defensive line, like I expect them to do, if these big boys come ready, Daquan Jones mixed with Tim Settle and either maybe it's Poona Ford or and then you got Ed Oliver, and if they come with it and they shut this run game down early, they shut it down, and the Bills' offense is able to get out to an early lead, then they can put them one-dimensional, which means you're not going to have to worry about the run game. That's when the Bills' defense is at their best. They're able to pin their ears back and blitz and be aggressive and get after it. That's when I think the game favors the Buffalo Bills. And it could, if that happens, you could see the lead spread. You know what I'm saying? That's all contingent upon the Buffalo Bills offense doing what they have to do first, which is get off to a fast start, get points on the board, and put the pressure on the Pittsburgh Steelers to be one-dimensional. And I guess I just kind of like ran right into my next segment, which is Big Dubs, baby. Hold on. Let me let Jordan Poyer say it, because I've got to have Jordan Poyer say it, because this is time for Keys to
Big Dubs! Big Dubs!
So Keys to Big Dubs with the Buffalo Bills. I already said it, and I'll say it again. For me, offensively, I want to see the Buffalo Bills get off to an early start, a fast start. Get on the board. I don't care if you sustain a long drive. I don't care what it is. But your opening drive for the Buffalo Bills offense needs to end with 7 points. Okay? You need to suck the life out of the Steelers. So if the Bills can get out to a fast start, then I think it builds momentum for the defense. And the defense then can get after it. And the Bills' defense then needs to shut down the run game. Key in on the run game. You stop the run game, you, in essence, stop the Steelers' entire offense. And you make them one-dimensional. So offense, get off to a fast start, score first, do what you got to do. Defense, stop the run. If they do that, then I think that the pass rush is just going to inevitably get there. We're going to shake up Mason Rudolph. You know, he could throw a couple of picks in the game. Those are my keys to the game. And I don't care how they do it. I don't care if they blow them out or if they win a close game. I don't care. Just move forward. Move on to the next round. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's looking at style points in the playoffs. Those are my keys to the game. Let me take a look at your keys. Let me go through the chat to see if I see anybody's keys here to the game. Drop them in the chat if you haven't already done so. Let me see here. Yo, Mike asked a good question. He says, yo, should the Bills receive if we win the coin toss? Good question. I don't think so. Now, Sean McDermott very rarely elects to receive the ball because he likes to double dip. So he chooses to defer to the second half because he wants his defense to get out there first, shut them down, and then the offense goes out there and scores. But then they like to have the ball right before a half, and they score. They like that. Ideally, they like to score right before the half, and then coming out in the second half, they get the ball back again. They want to double dip and score again. So that's why I think the Bills should keep with that and just defer until the second half, because I think the defense of the Buffalo Bills can really set the tone for the game. I do. I think they can. I think if they come out there and they show the Steelers that they're not afraid of their physicality or their run game, and they're able to get out, get an early 3 and out, or they just, they make a stop where the Steelers get no points, not even a field goal opportunity, and they have to punt. I think it's a win for the Bills defense early in the game, and it sets the tone. And then the Bills offense can come out there and do what it do. So, in a long roundabout way of saying, to answer your question, no. No. Go ahead and defer. Go ahead and defer to the second half. Let me see here. Oh boy, looks like I got a Chief trolling here. The Chiefs will be in the AFC Championship game. Pause. Okay, pause. I know y'all are happy you just beat the Miami Dolphins. I know you're happy about that. But let's just pause. You got a long road ahead of you. A very long road ahead of you. And assuming the Bills win Monday or whenever they play, you've got to come to Buffalo, which is what oh my gosh. I so want this. I want this so badly. And I know I can't be the only one here. But I so badly want Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs to finally take their tail on the road and come play Buffalo at Highmark. You come to our house. We have played in Arrowhead. It seems to be freaking forever. Now you got to come to our house. Bills Mafia, going nuts, going crazy. And I want redemption. You say, Rev, what are you talking about? Redemption. I want redemption, doggone it. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. I want the Bills to be the team to send these jokers packing in the postseason. I want to make up for those couple of years in which the Bills lost an AFC Championship game to the Chiefs in Arrowhead, lost to the Chiefs in Arrowhead in the division round a couple years ago. Now you got to come to Buffalo if we win this game. And I want to knock them out of the playoffs. Send them packing. That's what I want. And I can't freaking wait for that. But before we get there, we have to handle business against the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right? Yeah, I know Mahomes is coming. Okay, so you're assuming, so you're with me then. So you think the Bills are going to win against the Steelers. That's what you're saying. I appreciate it, Captain Mike. Thank you for that. As far as keys to the game, DMX says, shut down the run. shut down the run. Hold on a second. I'm getting a chat here. It says, yo, can't believe they moved the game to Tuesday. Are you serious? That's not true. Tell me that's not true. Tell me that's just a typo and you meant Monday, right? Tell me you just meant Monday. Can somebody confirm that? Did they move the game to Tuesday? Or is it still being played on Monday? Chat, you guys handle that, okay? I'm pretty sure it's still on Monday. I haven't heard anything about them being moved to Tuesday at all. RC3 says, yo, but Rev, how would it feel if they beat us? I'm not even going to talk about that. That's backwards thinking. We're not even having that conversation. And there's no if. That's not right, dude. No, it's still Monday, right? Y'all Google that for me. Y'all Google that for me. Because y'all got me tripping. Y'all got me like, man, are you kidding me? But anyway, so DJ Barossi says, yo, the satisfaction from that would be unrivaled. Talking about the Bills beating the Chiefs is what I'm assuming. In Buffalo, knocking them out of the playoffs. It would be completely unrivaled. At that point, you would have me believing, Michael Williams, that this is our year. I'm kind of already almost there. You know what I'm saying? But what kind of got me thrown off a little bit is, that whole conspiracy, that whole Super Bowl logo conspiracy and all that with the colors and the colors being purple and red would kind of, would lead you to believe that it could be the Ravens and the Niners. Whatever. We will see. We'll see what happens. But man, I just want to handle business Monday. And then I want to see the Bills beat the brakes off of the Chiefs in Buffalo. Hold on a second. So Monday still, I've got Paulie saying, yo, Tuesday is looking to be moved only if they don't shovel out the stadium in time. Are y'all serious? Yo, I hope they don't move this game to Tuesday. Now, granted, I don't want to be selfish because I don't know the conditions. I don't know what the conditions will be by then. Okay. And lives are more important than the game at the end of the day. Okay. But I think it should be okay. I'm hoping and praying that everything will be fine and they'll be able to clear the roads and get the stadium cleared out. And the game will proceed as scheduled on Monday. So that's what I'm hoping is going to happen. All right. Because, man, if they move it to Tuesday, that's going to be terrible. Because imagine they move the game to Tuesday. But then you have to factor in the fact that the winner of that game will have to be prepared. They'll be at a disadvantage because then they'll have to be prepared for a game on a short week. Because the NFL doesn't have scheduled for the division round. They don't have any Monday night games. It's only Saturday and Sunday. So if they do move the game to Tuesday, the winner of that game will have to be on a short week. And you can say, yeah, but they had, extra days to prepare for this game. Yeah, but that has nothing to do with next game. With what I'm saying, what happens after the game. There could be injuries after the game, and you mean to tell me that the guys have to turn around and what, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 days and be prepared for a possible game on Saturday on 3 days of rest, maybe 4 if they get lucky and get a Sunday game. That's crazy, right? That's crazy, man. So I hope it doesn't happen, right? I hope that doesn't happen. So I got people saying, yo, the driving ban is going to be gone Monday morning. Okay. Well, then that should be good. That should be good. Anyway, man, you guys threw me off there, man. I saw that possible game being moved on to Tuesday. And I was like, yo, are you serious? No way. No way. All right. So anyway, so we talked about keys to big dubs and unsung heroes of the game. But now comes the time. Now comes the time, Bills Mafia. You already know what time it is, baby. You know what time it is. And in this particular segment, man, it fires me up because I tend to go all out. I tend to go all out. And so I hope y'all are ready because I'm ready.
On my mama. On my mama. I put that on my mama.
On my mama. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time for On My Mama. Drop it in the chat. I need to know from you all. What is your On My Mama take for this game against the Steelers? What do y'all have? Give me your most crazy, ludicrous take that you believe is going to happen and put it on your mama. Now, I went ahead and said earlier that I can see it being a tight game. So I can't come in here and go on my mama and make it seem like it's going to be a blowout. And I'm definitely not going to sit here and say it's going to be a shootout because I do not see that happening whatsoever. Although that could be an on my mama take, an unconventional on my mama take, nevertheless. But I ain't going that far. But I'll say this. On my mama. I already mentioned it before, and I'll say it again. The unsung hero on defense is going to be none other than Dane Jackson. And why is Dane Jackson going to be the unsung hero? Because on my mama, Dane Jackson is going to have not one, but 2 interceptions on the game. 2 interceptions on the game for Dane Jackson. Showing up, showing out, next man up. He's doing his thing, and that's on my mama. Shout out to Dane Jackson. I'm already feeling it, baby. I'm already feeling it. Day Trooper comes in and says, yo, on my mama, 2021 playoff Josh returns, baby. On my mama, where he's just unstoppable. Unstoppable. I love it. Let's see here. On my mama comes in from Kier Harness, says, on my mama, 0 picks for either team. And Connor McGovern gives up 0 pressures. I like it. Because Connor McGovern's been he's been kind of leaky. So if he's giving up 0 pressures, it's gonna be a good day for the Buffalo Bills offensive line, which means Josh Allen is standing upright and he is able to slice and dice this team to pieces. I love it. On my mama. Let's go, baby. Mr. Diggs comes in and says, yo, on my mama. The Bills create at least 3 turnovers with a peanut punch. Get on that ball, baby. I love it. At least 3 turnovers. I'm already calling 2 for my man Dane Jackson. I don't care who gets the other one. I like it. I've got Fraser comes in. Farzine says, yo, on my mama, Taron Johnson will have an MVP game. Taron Johnson. I love Taron Johnson, man. Taron Johnson, Mr. Second Team All-Pro. We're talking about All-Pro Taron. Shout out to Taron Johnson. Having an MVP game. He's going to do it. Facts. Michael Williams comes in and says, yo, on my mama, Mason Rudolph is getting sacked 7 times, baby. 7 times. Oh, I love that one. Griffin comes in. Crazy take, but I love it. On my mama. Allen throws for 515 yards and 5 total touchdowns. Light show. Cook leaves early with... Hold on a second, bro. I ain't even going to speak that last one. I'm not saying that one. You had me with everything else. But that one, I'm not saying that one. Nah, that's not even coming out of my lips. Why would you even say that, dude? Why would you even say that? Anyway, Allen throws 515 yards and 5 total touchdowns. I like it. Okay? Boom. Yeah, you almost had me on that one, bro. Yo, I had you over here laughing. Man, yo, y'all see that? I was going with it too. Griffin had me going. He had me going, and I saw it. I said, hold on, bro. Pause. I am not saying that. That is not even coming out of my lips, bro. Tripping. Anyway, now that y'all got me, Griffin got me He's got me pre-reading these things before I put them up on the screen. Here we go. All right, YouTuber 9 says, yo, on my mama, Dalton Kincaid, Stephon Diggs, Killer Shakir will have 300-plus total yards receiving. I put that on my mama. Oh, my gosh. Can you imagine? All three of them collectively have 300 total yards receiving. Oh, man, that'd be crazy. I like it. I like it. Calvin Ashley comes in and says, yo, on my mama, Leonard Fournette, 110 yards. Was that on the ground? Is that receiving? Is that total? What is it? I'm assuming it's on the ground. Mrs. Ziggs says, yo, Griffin is not for real. Sorry, dude, was trolling. Goes crazy. Hey, all right, there you go. I was like about to say, man, because you had me. You had me for a second. You had me for a second. That's that's funny. So that's my on my mama take. I put it on the defensive side of the ball. Do I feel an on my mama take on offense? No, I'm just gonna leave it on defense. I'm just gonna leave it on defense. You gotta leave it on defense. Y'all continue to drop your on my mama takes here. You continue to do it. Let me see here. All right, yo. So Calvin Ashley says, yo, that's gonna be on the ground, 2 touchdowns from Leonard Fournette. All right, I like it. Bryson comes in and says, yo, on my mama, Cook got 150 total touchdowns. I'm sorry. My bad. I read that wrong. 150 total yards. Imagine if those touchdowns. Crazy. 150 total yards and 2 touchdowns on my mama, baby. And Josh Richardson says, yo, on my mama, Josh Allen and Diggs will be back to 2021 form. Just in time for a playoff push all the way to Vegas as a host of the Lombardi. Let's get, because you know it. Allen plus Diggs equals 7, baby. We got to get it. We got to get it. Oh, I like this one. Ebony says, yo, on my mama, a repeat of that January 22 game against the Pats, scoring on every single drive. On my mama. I love it. I love that one. Yes. That's the kind of game I want to have. That's the kind of game I want to see. I do. Let me see here. All right, Red says, yo, heavy blitz on Patrick and double up on number 4 on my mama. All right. Any more on my mama takes? Y'all keep on dropping it. But right, what I'm going to do now, because y'all know it's time now. You know it's time now. And so I've got to cue up my music. I've got to cue my music up because y'all already know what time. Time, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the near conclusion of the show, but I need y'all score predictions. Let me know right now in the chat how you feel about this game. What do you have? How do you see it transpiring? Is it a Bills blowout? Is it a close game? Is it a Bills taking an L? How do you see it? Let me know right now in the chat, baby. Let me know how you feel in the chat. Mr. Diggs kicks us off. 31-19 Bills, baby. All day, every day. I've got Day Trooper G-Dub says, yo, 31-16 Bills. I love it. And I've got Luis Matos comes in. Says, yo, on my mama, the Steelers fans will shut the F up when the Bills score 28-17, 3 sacks and 2 interceptions. You already know what's happening, right? You already know it. I ain't gonna say nothing, just like Dolphins fans ain't said nothing since. Hush mode. Mr. Migo says, yo, 24-17 Bills. Steven Jordan, 35-10 Buffalo, baby. DMX, 24-17 Bills. Mike, the Buffalo 7-1, 633-13. A huge 20-point victory for your Buffalo Bills. Ronald Bryant, 27-10 Buffalo. Tanner Smith, 38-14 Buffalo Bills, baby. 38-14. That's a huge win. by the Buffalo Bills. I would not be mad at that at all. Mike comes in, says 27-13 Buffalo. Huge shellacking by the Bills, according to Reg. 36-3 Buffalo. 2 defensive touchdowns. You ought to put that on my mama, baby. Andrew says 34-16 Bills. On my mama. We want that revenge game. Looks like that's from Herd Life. I can't make out the rest. I'm sorry. It's an old English lady. I'm sorry about that. My bad. Let me check out some more scores. I see a close game from Ed 7Q. Bills 17-14. Bryson comes in 38-13 Bills. Calvin 24-13 Bills. I've got Michael Wheeler 34-10 Bills. Rosaline Jacob comes in with a massive victory by the Buffalo Bills. Not only is it massive, it's a complete shutout and an embarrassment of a performance by the Steelers. The Bills win 34-0, sending them jokers back to Pittsburgh. Oh, man. I would love that too. No joke. No joke. Hill Slayer 12 says, yo, Steelers up early. Bills call back in. Taking to overtime. Allen wins first overtime game, 24-21. Hill Slayer. Yo, I think it's you every time. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But, yo, what is up with this overtime? I don't want an overtime game. I don't want it, man. I don't want it. For once in a long time, I want an easy game where I'm not worried about it. Where my anxiety is not up. Or my blood pressure is not up. And we have a chill game. I don't want to take this game in overtime, man. 24-21, according to Hill Slayer. Oh, man, I can't have it. YouTube 35-14 Bills. Daniel says, yo, Bills are up. They win 23-19. Slick Crook, 33-13. 33-13. Mark Rump says, yo, Bills win 28-13. Yo, Luis Matos says, yo, Bills are bad overtime. Yeah, that's right. They're undefeated. I mean, yeah, they're winless in overtime. Winless. Day Trooper says, yo, man, my heart can't take overtime. Mine either. Andre says, yo, no overtime. Please, no overtime. All right, so my score prediction. For me, ladies and gentlemen, I see a close one. Well, somewhat of a close game. I'm going to go Buffalo. I'll say Bills 23. You know, I kind of want to say 27. I'm going to go. No, I'm going to go 27. Okay, Bills 27. Steelers 17. 10-point win. 27-17. There we go. Yes, sir. Same wavelength, baby. 27-17 Bills. That's what I'm saying. The Pistol Pete comes in. The first 40 burger sighting of the night. 41-9. Wait. Oh, man. 41-9 Bills. And a crazy game like that, snow game. Yo, hey, I'm down with it, baby. But mine, I got a close one. 27-17. 27-17. That's my score prediction, ladies and gentlemen. And again, yo, I thank everybody for watching tonight, for tuning in. Do me this favor. If you have not already done so, smash that like you've never smashed a like before, and hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already done so, go to supportbf.com. Follow us on all of our social media platforms. Follow me. You'll find me on Twitter @RatedRev, on Instagram @RatedRev as well. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a fantastic game for the Buffalo Bills. But until we get there, relax. Enjoy the state of games tomorrow. Even though our Buffalo Bills aren't playing at noon or at 1 o'clock, we get to enjoy the rest of the games and see the Bills play, hopefully on Monday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Highmark Stadium against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Winner. The Bills win. We stay at home and host the Kansas City Chiefs revenge game. But until then, we taking care of business, baby. I love y'all. Thanks for tuning in with me. I know it's late on the East Coast. Shout out to y'all. Smash that like on the way out. Grace and peace, baby. God bless. And as always, you already know what time it is. Until next time, baby, it's your man Red signing off. It's the Buffalo Fanatics. Go Bills!